Azure Cost Optimization for Startups Under $1 Million ARR. Hey, welcome. In this video, we're breaking down Azure Cost Optimization for Startups Under $1 Million ARR. Let's get into it. Next up, let's talk about why Azure costs spiral for early-stage startups. Startups move fast, and Azure makes it easy to spin up resources. That speed is one of Azure's genuine strengths. The problem is that provisioning is frictionless, but deprovisioning tends to be an afterthought. A developer spins up a D4S_V3 VM to test a feature, forgets to shut it down over a long weekend, and that single oversight costs $200. Multiply that across a 5-person engineering team over a quarter, and you're looking at a recurring cost leak that has nothing to do with your actual product. 3 patterns show up repeatedly in startups at this revenue stage. Effective Azure cost optimization for startups starts with visibility into these 3 areas. The fix is not a large architectural overhaul. It is a series of small, targeted decisions that stack up fast. Next up, let's talk about Azure cost optimization for startups. Start with right-sizing. Right-sizing is the practice of matching your Azure resource configuration to actual workload needs, not worst-case theoretical demands. Most startups running web applications or APIs find that their production VMs sit at under 20% CPU utilization for most of the day. If you're running a standard _D4S_V3 for an app that peaks at 2 vCPUs, dropping to a standard _D2S_V3 cuts that VM cost roughly in half. For a startup paying $280 per month on 2 D4S_V3 instances, that's $140 per month back without any performance impact. Hey race, where to start? Next up, let's talk about Azure Cloud Cost Management, budget alerts and spending governance. Budget visibility is a core part of Azure cost optimization for startups, and budget alerts are one of those features that take 15 minutes to configure but can prevent thousands of dollars in monthly overruns. Azure's cost management and billing service is included with every Azure subscription at no additional cost. How to set up Azure budget alerts. The 110% forecast alert is the one most teams miss. By the time an actual spend alert fires at 100%, the month is nearly over. Azure's forecast alerts use spending projections and typically give you 7 to 10 days of advance warning. Next up, let's talk about Azure Reserved Instances versus Pay-As-You-Go. What makes sense under $1 million ARR? Azure Reserved Instances let you commit to 1 or 3 years of VM usage in exchange for discounts of up to 72% compared to Pay-As-You-Go rates. For a standard _D4S_V3 in East US, Pay-As-You-Go runs about $0.192 per hour. A 1-year reserved instance for the same VM drops to roughly $0.117 per hour. That's $55 per month saved per VM. Across 10 VMs, that's $6,600 per year returned to the business. The catch is the commitment. If your architecture changes significantly, you're still paying for reserved capacity, though Azure allows exchanges and cancellations with some restrictions. Next up, let's talk about how Azure Advisor helps you cut cloud spending. Azure Advisor is a built-in recommendation engine that scans your Azure environment and flags specific issues across cost, performance, security, and reliability. The cost recommendations are worth reviewing every week. Advisor's typical cost recommendations for startups include: each recommendation includes an estimated monthly savings figure. A startup with 15 to 20 Azure resources typically finds $300 to $800 per month in Advisor recommendations the first time they look. To access it, search Advisor in the Azure portal, click Cost in the left menu, and sort by annual savings. Work through the top 5 items first. Let's talk about moving on to Azure cost analysis tools you should be using weekly. Azure Cost Management includes a cost analysis view that every startup should open at least once a week. The 3 views that matter most. The Azure Pricing Calculator is worth bookmarking separately. Use it before provisioning any new resource to compare configuration costs side by side before you commit. For startups evaluating whether Azure's tooling fits their broader platform needs, our comparison of Azure versus AWS versus Google Cloud for SMBs covers how native cost management features stack up across platforms. Next up, auto shutdown policies for dev and test environments. Dev and test environments are the single biggest source of avoidable waste for early-stage startups. A developer's test VM running 24/7 costs exactly the same as a production VM. Auto shutdown policies fix that without any workflow disruption. To enable auto shutdown on any Azure VM, that takes under 2 minutes per VM. For a team of 5 developers each running one VM for 8 hours instead of 24, you cut VM runtime by 67%. On a standard D2S_V3 at $0.096 per hour, that saves about $42 per month per developer, or $210 per month for the team. Let's talk about moving on to realistic cost reduction targets for Azure startups under $1 million ARR. Teams that haven't done any cloud cost review before typically see 30 to 45% savings in the first 90 days after applying these tactics. Here is how the savings break down. A startup spending $3,000 per month on Azure can realistically reach $1,800 to $2,100 per month within 60 to 90 days without any architectural changes. That's $900 to $1,200 per month back into hiring, product development, or runway. For a step-by-step walkthrough targeting the 40% reduction mark specifically, how to reduce cost in Azure Cloud by 40% includes a prioritized action list you can complete in a single sprint. Let's talk about conclusion. Azure cost optimization for startups under $1 million ARR is not a one-time project. It's a habit: weekly cost analysis, monthly advisor reviews, and converting stable workloads to reserved instances as your architecture matures. The tactics here: right-sizing VMs, setting up budget alerts, enabling auto shutdown for dev environments, and acting on advisor recommendations, can cut your Azure bill by 30 to 40% without touching production architecture or adding downtime risk. Start with the 2 fastest wins today: turn on budget alerts and run Azure Advisor to surface idle resources and unattached disks. Those 2 steps alone typically surface $200 to $500 in monthly savings with zero risk. Then layer in reserved instances once you have stable utilization data to back the commitment. Cloud spend that grows faster than revenue is a warning sign worth catching early. If you'd like help auditing your current Azure environment or building a cost governance plan tailored to your team's size and budget, reach out and we'll run a no-cost review.